Anthony Kearns, thank you so much for joining Irish Entertainment TV. It's a pleasure to meet you. You are considered the foremost tenor in Ireland, and you are a member of the Irish Tenors.
Yeah, 20 years next year. We started in October of 1998 in the RDS in Dublin, and we've been very fortunate 20 years on. We're coming back to Ireland to celebrate our 20th anniversary, and hopefully we might have some new product, whether it's a CD or a show. We're discussing it at the minute, maybe something else on PBS. We were the darlings of PBS back in the day, along with Andrea Bocelli and the Three Tenors and Andrea Rieu, and Riverdance, of course. That really opened the door for everything Irish, really.
Are you performing, you've performed over Christmas with them? Are you performing again in March? What's happening with that?
Yeah, we'll be back out in March doing various dates. We do a tour in March and we tour at Christmas. There are 2 tours here in North America. So we just finished up there on December 17th and we had a grand run. But the exciting news now is we haven't played in Ireland since 2004. And for our 20th anniversary, we're coming back to Ireland to do a number of dates. I know they're gone on sale last week. They went on sale in the National Concert Hall in Dublin. There's 2 nights, and I hope to be adding more. And we're in Killarney, the NEC in Killarney, and Belfast has been looked at as well.
Okay, have you ever had any disasters on stage? Let's talk about nitty-gritties here. Any crazy disasters on stage?
Nothing major. I know one time we were in Denver, Colorado, and you're mile high, and we had oxygen on the wings, for the singers. And, you're giving it welly and you're hitting top notes and the head goes into a spin. So you're walking off stage and you're walking sideways and you put the mask on and fill up with oxygen and go back out and do the next part of the show. That was a bit iffy. I ended up actually in hospital in Denver one time because I have a touch of asthma. I'm a bit rattly today, but I do suffer a bit from asthma, and I was performing an opera in Colorado and I had to go into the hospital. I couldn't take a breath. I was like an old fella. I was snatching breaths between singing lines. Every 2 words I was snatching breaths. So that was enough. That's enough to knock you off your plate, when you can't deliver.
Right. Okay. You're totally qualified. That's the most extraordinary story so far I've talked to anybody about. You had oxygen when you came off stage. That's up there.
Yeah. Well, it was badly needed. And the thing is, you have to go in and climatize in Colorado. That's the thing we didn't do. So we went straight in, probably from Florida or somewhere, and then you're straight into concert and you wonder what's wrong. So the blood is not thin enough.
Whereabouts are you from?
I'm from Kilteely in County Wexford, at the foot of Mount Leinster, near Bunclody, near Enniscorthy. That's rural Wexford. Yeah.
Now, coming from a small town like that to become as famous and as huge a group as you are in, and also your own personal, we're going to talk about your own personal career. What is it like to go back? What was it like growing up, being a singer at school? Did you get bullied? All that kind of thing. What was it like?
I had a great time growing up. Singing was always my passion. Music. I played traditional instruments growing up as a kid. I played the button accordion years ago, and I entered competitions. That's our mother was very good in getting us involved in music and Cultus Ceoltóirí, and I sang in competitions from a very early age. Scoring an Og and Ceol and Girrig, these are all Irish competitions, but it gave me the confidence. That's where the foundation began. So I was learning to stand up. I remember singing the Gaiety in a final as a kid, my mother sitting in the audience, and I developed this fear thing, so I'd swallow in the middle of a phrase, I was born on, and I'd swallow, and I had no control over it. It was just pure fear. But I managed to get over that after enough competitions. Now I'd stand in front of anyone, and I've stood in front of 1 million people, so it wouldn't bother me anymore. But I had to get over that fear as a kid. But I had a great time growing up. Music was a big part of my life, and all the family played music. But I took it seriously then when I went to a convent in Bunclody. I went to the convent with the nuns, met Garrod Grant, the conductor of the National Symphony Orchestras, and that just took it to another level. I got involved in the school musicals. So gradually I'm heading in the right direction. Musicals. Then I entered competition. I went Ireland search for a tenor, and I'm introduced to classical music. And then I started to get traction. Entering the Feis Ceoils and winning competitions, and that's where I said, aha, I've arrived.
Right. Now, growing up in Ireland, we were talking about this earlier. I don't think people realise the cold when you don't have central heating. Tell me about the cold when you were growing up.
Well, we used to die with the cold. I mean, you'd have blankets and everything on the bed, and they weighed a ton on top of you, and the coats were on top of that. And I dreaded getting out of bed in the morning. in winter mornings. The floor was cold, the room was cold. As I said, the ice formed on the inside. People think this is a joke. This is fact. The ice would form on the inside of the window. Yes. It was bitter cold. There was no central heating. The only heating we had at the time was a fire. And once that died down, that was it. And some cases we didn't have hot water bottles, so you had to be creative. So you get a lemonade bottle. You fill it with boiling water and put it in a sock. Put it in your bed. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's genius. That is absolute genius. Well, we had the same. There was ice on the inside of the windows. Yeah. And I'd be afraid to get up in the morning to get to school. I'd have to get dressed under the blankets. Were you the same?
Yeah, it was ridiculously cold. I don't know, maybe things seemed colder back then, but you know, they have all the comforts now. There's the other extreme. People are too soft. You know, I'm home, like from Florida here. I'm speaking about myself here. I came back from Florida with the comforts of warmth, and I'm sniffling after 2 nights in Wexford. And my mother's hard as nails. But, you know, it was cruel times. I hated the cold weather.
Well, I think, yeah, exactly. I think growing up here in Ireland, you get very hardy with the weather. Yeah. But we didn't even have a phone. Did you have a phone?
No, there was a public phone in the village, and you'd have to arrange a time, presumably from the last call. I'll call you at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Now, so you go walk up to the village in hail, rain or snow, and there could be 2 or 3 people queuing for the same phone box, and you're thinking, I have to call this person at 5 o'clock. But you know what was amazing? This was the A button and B button payphone. So you put in your money and say, hello, operator, I want to call Dublin, Tala, right? We used to be calling our aunt in Dublin. And you relive all the things that happened and tell them who's not well and blah, blah, blah. And your conversation would finish when you run out of your money. But I went back up another day to call, and the operator says to me, tell me, how is that woman doing? Is she out of hospital? That was the endearing thing about the Irish. Like, anyone else say, mind your own bloody business. But she was like listening into the conversation. I'll put you through now, caller. And just as I finish up, tell me, how's that woman doing? Is she out of hospital? Are you serious? Yeah. It's gas, isn't it?
Well, that is incredible. So, Anthony, your own personal career outside of the tenors, what you've had a very successful career yourself. So tell me more about that. And also, you just sang the American national anthem. Again, you've done it quite a few times.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate that I've had the Irish Tenors to fall back on, but I've always done my own thing as well. I mean, I like performing the solo concerts. I'm very fortunate in that I have a good library of music. The late Frank Patterson, well, actually, he's the late wife, Eiley, who passed away not too long ago, left me all Frank's work, his entire library. I have the whole lot. So I'm ready to go. I'm a man with a mission. I've got the charts. So that's a big deal for people. Say, yeah, we'd love to bring you in, but the cost of, hiring and I say, I've got 280 scores ready to go. That's a big deal. Plus 250 of the Irish Tenors. So I have a library of music. That's one thing. So I perform a lot with symphony. I perform a lot in the corporate end of things. I love the corporate engagements in DC or wherever. And my own piano recital concerts, which are lovely. So there's different levels. Like you're with the Irish Tenors in front of 3,000 or 4,000 people, or you could be in front of 400 or 500 people with a piano recital. I was in Long Island just last week, and it was a spectacular concert. I joined the choir. We performed some Christmas music. It was lovely. So I'm very lucky. I keep things busy, and then I dabble a bit in the opera. I like to do an opera. I like to take on something to keep you sharp. Keep you fit, like match fit. Because if you can sing opera, you'll sing anything.
That's right. Absolutely. It's like classical ballet. If you've got the basics in classical ballet, you can do any kind of dance, because that's my background. But classical music, I'm sure it's exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, I love the opera, and I've performed a few of them now in the States, and I just performed in Ireland this year in Lismore, the Opera Festival in Lismore. We did the Elixir of Love. So it was great. I like to take it on and, challenge myself.
Where can we find your music?
Yeah, well, my own solitary offering is on my website, anthonykearnstenor.com. It's called With a Song in My Heart, and there's a great variety of stuff from opera, aria from Faust, La Donna Immobile, then there's some Irish tunes, Bula Vogue from the county of Wexford, of course, Danny Boy is there, it has to be there. So there's a mixed bag of music. Essentially, it's songs that I like to perform, and that's what's on it. So there's a good selection of stuff. It's on my website. The Irish Tenors you can look at the website, or nowadays you can go on to Spotify and all these things. It's available online. My album is available online as well to download or to purchase it in whole. Right.
And what is the Tenors website?
The Tenors website is IrishTenorsmusic.com. Yeah.
Wonderful. How many albums have you put out?
With the tenors, I think about 13. So it's a mixture of Irish music and spiritual music and Christmas. I think we have three Christmas albums. So yeah, 13 albums out there.
Now, who decides on what music goes into the albums and their running order and all? You're a music producer yourself, right?
Yeah, we generally decide it ourselves. You know, we pick a couple of solo. Firstly, we pick the trios. So we trash it out in the room. I remember from the very first day, you'd bring in a pile of music and you go through, no, didn't like it. Oh, that's nice. Go back one. And you'd go through hundreds of pieces of music and then you'd narrow it down to your final, say, 15 or 16. Yeah, and we'd all have our favourites. Everyone keeps one up their sleeve, you know, say nothing. Right. Hold on to the Wexford Carol, or in my case, hold on to Bool of Vogue, being from Wexford, you know.
Now, do you all get on? I'm sure you all get on really well, right?
We fight like devils. And look, we get on great. And that's the bottom line. We have great fun. It's an easy lift when you have three singers sharing the workload. When you go out on your own and you're doing a solo concert and you have 25 or 6 songs in an evening to do. But when you're with three, and that's what you need when one is not well or one might be under the weather, and it's happened. We've all been there. So you need the others to shoulder.
Now, you're always standing in the centre. Who decided that, and is that purposefully?
I think it was decided back in the day by Bill Hughes. He put the good-looking one in the middle to draw attention, I think. I would say that. No, I've been there from day one, and it's my comfort spot now, and it's like the anchor tenant, the keystone. If that was to move, the roof would probably come down. The lads would love that.
The lads would love that. Well, you're in stereo then, aren't you? You've got both sides in stereo.
Yes, I have my wingmen. Yeah, and it's just worked out fine. I'm always in the middle, and we've never changed. We've never swapped around. You know, it's funny. Yeah, the man in the middle.
The man in the middle. The man in the middle. Do you speak any Irish?
I have a smattering of Irish. Like any language, you have to be using it frequently. So I have cúpla focal. Anton O'Kerry, that wasn't a dirty word, by the way. Cúpla focal in the Irish language means a couple of words. Anton O'Kerry is anadom Tommy Mahoney I Kilteely I Kuntalach Carmen. Anthony Kearns is my name. I'm living in Kilteely, County Wexford. Well, I used to. I'm now living in Orlando, Florida.
Well, you know, when you're at school too, you kind of, because it's compulsory to do Irish at school, you tend to just sort of shut up, you close the ears. And I wish I'd paid more attention because it's such a beautiful language. So, Con is a thought who?
Tommy Goma has to fain.
Oh, Tommy Goma Buekas Ligia.
Cart galore.
Is that my kind of cut-off point? Gorif Mila Mahagath?
No Hobberay.
Oh, what's that?
Don't mention it. Or Tough Halch Road, you're welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, for today's interview, Gorev Mila Mahagath.
Gorev Mila Mahagath. Freshen.
That means thank you very much too.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, seriously, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been an unbelievable pleasure, and both of us here in Ireland at the same time. How fabulous.
Thank you very much, and a big thank you to Irish Entertainment TV. It's a pleasure being with you guys. So,
do you want to hold them?
I'll hold the mic. Why not?
Yes, I'll just sit here.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep